Hobby Quick Hits. Delivering that breaking hobby news directly to your earlobes. You want to know those hot drops from the card shop? We've got you covered. With your host, John Newman.
Welcome to another edition of Hobby Quick Hits. It's time for our Major League Baseball preview show. We're going to go around both leagues, talk about division winners, wild card teams, according to me, take it to the bank as always. And then we're going to go over some awards, right? MVP, Cy Young, Rookie of the Year. I'm going to tell you who, in my opinion, takes down these awards, who comes close. Maybe some young guns to keep an eye on, especially hobby-wise, and maybe buy some stuff as early as you can. So we do this every year. I do know baseball fairly well, so, take that with a grain of salt. But going to go, again, we're going to cover awards, division winners, wild card teams, and young players to watch. So been keeping tabs on spring training. A lot of young players doing very, very well. But before we get the show started, let's hear from our great sponsors, Mojo Breaks. Check them out. They're doing big things out in California. And after that, we'll get this show started.
MojoBreakShop.com is the best place to get your sealed wax products and brakes. They not only have the best selection, but the best prices. Whether it's a box or a whole case, they are your guys. They ship worldwide to your doorstep. Their reputation as one of the most trusted in the hobby goes unmatched. They are the 2021 Topps Rip Party Champion Breakers. From sports card to Pokemon cards, their selection can't be beat. They offer daily deals and pre-orders.
Hey guys, John Newman here. Mojo's prices are already great, but to save an additional 10% off anything in their store, use the code QUICKHITS. That's QUICKHITS. Check out the full service store that's open 7 days a week in Santa Clara, California, or the website at mojobreak.com.
Let's check out this week's Hobby Wax releases. Take it away, Max.
Hey guys, it's Max from the Sports Card Shop in New Buffalo, Michigan, and soon to be Valparaiso, and we are bringing you guys the weekly releases for the next 2 weeks here, and we're starting off on the 29th with Panini Contenders Football, Panini Court Kings Basketball, 2021 Upper Deck SPX Hockey, and on the 31st we have 2022 Panini National Treasure Racing, 2022-23 Panini Origins Basketball H2, 2023 Topps Big League Baseball, 2022 Topps Stadium Club Chrome Baseball, 2023 Topps Star Wars Signature Series, 2022 Topps Transcendent Collection Baseball, 2023 Wild Card 5-Card Draw Baseball, and on the 5th of April we have 2022-23 Panini Contenders Basketball, 2022 Panini Limited Football, 2021-22 Upper Deck Clear Cut Hockey, 2022-23 Upper Deck Series 2 Hockey, and on the 7th of April, we have 2022-23 Leaf Signature Series Basketball, 2022 Leaf Vivid Soccer, 2023 Onyx Vintage Collection Baseball, 2021-22 Panini Eminence Basketball, and 2023 Panini Prism WWE. Thank you guys for tuning in to the podcast. Enjoy the rest of the show.
Let's go round the hobbyverse and catch up on this week's hobby news.
All right, quite a bit of news leading up into the Mint Collective week. You may have seen some representatives of Fanatics at your card show you may have attended recently. They've sent out reps to attend some of the bigger shows, not your, backroom shows, but some of your more regional bigger shows, including Michael Rubin himself, who went to the Philly show. I don't think he traveled that far, but why and the reasoning remains to be seen. But if you ask me, I think they're just trying to, gauge the temperature of the hobby, observe some stuff, how the sausage gets made on the other side of the wall. as well. PSA, who recently announced they were going to start grading the 1984-85 Star cards, something they went away from for a while, have now announced that they are going to grade all these Star produced basketball cards. Now, that being said, there are a lot of Fugazis, so hopefully they weed those out and obviously catch those. Upper Deck, big announcement with the future flagship hockey release starting in the 2023-24 product. Guy named Connor Bedard is going to be in that, one of the biggest prospects to come in to hockey in a while, at least on hype. Packs are going to be $8.99 instead of $4.99. There used to be 24 packs per box and 8 cards per pack. They're now going to be 12 packs per box and 12 cards per pack. So you used to get 192 cards. Now you'll get 144. There's going to be 3 inserts per pack. So you're going to get 36 inserts per box. So out of 144 cards, 136 of them will be parallels or inserts. Speaking of parallels, they are changing parallels, including the Young Guns. You're going to see what's called outside or Outburst Red, numbered to 25, Outburst Silvers, Outburst Deluxe to 250, and brace yourself for the first time ever, Outburst Golds, numbered 1 of 1. So big changes coming to Upper Deck flagship. Fanatics has announced a deal with Winners Alliance. That's basically the Players Association of Pro Tennis to produce tennis cards. This is not a short-term deal. They signed a 20-year contract, much like rumored to be in the other sports as well. No further details than that when the first product will release or anything like that, any kind of pack out or spec sheet numbers, just that they signed a 20-year deal with Winners Alliance to produce tennis cards. So tennis cards are making a comeback. You don't have to keep going back to the future and buying just Net Pro cards. Dibs Marketplace has announced that this isn't really new news, but being we do the show every other week now, we didn't announce it. They're closing up shop. And I hate to say it, but I think in the new hobby that we're in, you're going to see a little bit more of that as the year goes on. Companies not getting it done or not staying above water. Whatnot had some problems recently. Most know had some bad breakers, right? Take stuff off camera, keep some stuff that should have went to a consumer. People obviously, word travels quick. People complain. Whatnot is said they have dealt with those that were accused of doing that, and they're going further than that. They want to have what's called Whatnot Watch, and they're going to pay some folks to literally watch breaks and notify the company of any illicit doings or bad going on. They also announced that they will be. They used to they don't archive any kind of streams, but now they are going to start archiving streams so they can pull them up and look at them anytime they want. That's the news.
And now, our feature presentation.
All right, guys, we're going to go round each league here, kind of talk about the teams, who's going to win divisions, playoffs, all that good stuff. Again, opinions are only my own, but I am a very big baseball fan, so there is some, knowledge in there somewhere. So let's start with the AL East. I'm going to talk about my pick to win it and maybe why. And that's going to be a surprise here. Maybe to some not. Toronto. I think this is the year Toronto, with all that young hitting, which is still young, the Bichettes, Guerrero Juniors, and they've added to that. This is the year I think they come up and, I don't think it's a big a surprise, but I think it will be a surprise to some. I think Toronto wins the AL East. I think the Yankees are going to take a little step back. I know they added Carlos Rodon, but he's a little nicked up. And I just think, again, this is Toronto's year to make the move. Their pitching staff is quietly very good, right? Headed by Alex Manoah, Cy Young candidate now every year. Chris Bassett added Kevin Gausman, Jose Barrios. They added a young outfielder from Arizona, Dalton Varsho, to that everyday lineup. And Whit Merrifield, you forgot that trade last year that brought Whit over from the Royals. He's a very good Major League Baseball hitter. I think the pieces are in place for Toronto to win the AL East. Let's go across to the National League, stay with the East theme, NL East. Now, most people know I'm a Mets fan, and that's my pick. I know it's a homer pick, but listen, they've spent the most money, and they lost DeGrom. They added Verlander to take his spot. They made a bunch of signings to the middle and back end of the rotation as well. Paid big money to get Kodai Senga from Japan, and there's no excuses here. They didn't trade any of their minor league prospects, including Francisco Alvarez, Mark Vientos, Brett Beatty, and others. And so there's no excuses. Their lineup is stacked. I mean, I would have liked to see him go and get another outfielder, but the cupboard is full, and it's the toughest division in baseball, right? Let's be real. The NL East is the toughest division in baseball. You got the Phillies, the Braves, both capable of winning 100 games potentially. I'm going to go with my homer pick, the Mets. Again, no excuses this year. They've loaded up for bear, and I think they get it done. Let's stay in the National League. Go to the Central Division. It was a tough call. I was 1 point leaning Milwaukee, then another point looking at what I did pick, and I'm picking the Cardinals to defend that division title. I think Milwaukee pushes them, but ultimately I think the Cardinals hold them off. This I think is the year Tyler O'Neill really puts it together. If Jack Flaherty can get healthy, and he's a great pitcher when he's on the mound. And Jordan Walker, remember that name. We're going to talk about him again here in a little bit, but a great young player in the outfield. And with the Cardinals, you got Arenado, Goldschmidt, and their lineable is very, very formidable. So let's head over to the American League Central, and again, some good teams here, right? Minnesota, Cleveland, Chicago White Sox. Again, this is another tough call. I'm going with the Twins. I think it's going to be up until the last week, the last day of the season, this division is being vied for, and I went with the Twins. I love the addition of Pablo Lopez from the Marlins to that pitching staff. You got Buxton, if he stays healthy, 5'2" player. Correa, we all know what happened with, 2 fake signings and then winds up going back to Minnesota. I think he's got a chip on his shoulder, something to prove. And if Alex Kirilloff can stay healthy, this guy's a major league ball player. He just can't stay healthy. But if he stays healthy, look out. So I'm going to go Minnesota, but in a tightly contested division that'll be contested to the last day. AL West. Houston, I know, they're the sort of consensus choice, and, I know they lost Verlander, but they got, I think, a finally healthy and out of trouble Forrest Whitley, remember him, on the mound, and their young pitching staff is great, and the exodus of Verlander opens up a spot for those young pitchers, Urquidy, and those guys, and Christian Javier, and and I don't think they miss a beat. They add Jose Abreu to that lineup, added to, Jordan Alvarez, Alex Bregman, Kyle Tucker. I mean, 1 to 9, there's no easy outs in that lineup, and Altuve and all those guys. So I think Houston is chalk here, and so let's go over some of the wild cards, right? Teams that I didn't pick in the American League. So the division winners, I got Toronto, Minnesota, Houston. I got wild cards. I think the Yankees get in as a wild card. I think that young Seattle team is ready for the postseason, and they're again another pitching staff people don't talk about. Solid. We all know Julio Rodriguez, who wants to prove that his rookie season was no fluke, and now he's an MVP candidate. And so I'm going to go, and I think Cleveland, who just misses out on taking down Minnesota, gets in as the wild card. So I'm going to go Cleveland, the Yankees, and Seattle as the 3 wild cards. Teams to keep an eye on. The White Sox, I think they're very, very good. If they stay healthy, they could win that division and not even be a team to watch. And the Baltimore Orioles, one of the best young teams in baseball, in the lineup that's in the big leagues and in their minor league system coming up. So they're moving in the right direction. They remind me of what Toronto was 3 or 4 years ago. I think that's where Baltimore is. And so, that AL East might be Baltimore and Toronto sort of replacing the Yankees and Red Sox at the top end of that. But we'll see. All right, let's go back to the National League. Give out my NL West pick. I think this is the year the Dodgers get dethroned, and I think it's the Padres that do it. They're loaded, obviously, in the lineup. Soto, Nelson Cruz is there. They signed Xavier Bogaerts from the Red Sox. Fernando Tatis, who's out to prove that he doesn't need performance-enhancing drugs to play well and to hit. And again, another pitching rotation that you forget about, right? Blake Snell, Joe Musgrove. I know he's battling a little injury. Michael Walker's there now. Yu Darvish at the top of that. And they got some young players that are maybe finally recovered from injuries. A guy I used to like back in the day, you might recognize the name when he was with Tampa Bay, Brent Honeywell. Looks like he's finally injury-free and ready to be a major league player. And the Red Sox, a guy they got from the Red Sox in the Eric Hosmer deal, pitcher Jay Groom, number 1 pick, had some injury problems, but he's actually playing very well in spring, has not given up a run. So remember that name, Jay Groom, for the Padres. So I didn't mention Machado, I don't think, so him as well. That team is loaded, and I think it's them or the Dodgers. I'm going to go with the Padres. So for my 3 wild cards on the National League side, I'm going to go with the Dodgers, who just miss out, in my opinion, to winning the division. Well, San Diego takes it. I think the Philadelphia Phillies, they won 100 games last year. They add Trey Turner. If it wasn't for me being a homer with my Mets pick, they would have been the pick. So I think they get in easily at the wild card. And I think Atlanta's going to take a step back this year. I think there's some problems there with Acuna and contract issues, but they're still a very good team. They won 100 games last year. I don't think they're going to be as good as last year's version, but they're going to be very good, and I think they get that 3rd wild card. So division winners, Mets, St. Louis, San Diego. Wild cards, Philly, the Dodgers, and the Atlanta Braves. Keep an eye on team. The Brewers, I think they're right there, and you got one of the best pitchers in baseball in Corbin Burns. And the Reds, I know traditionally the Reds have, kind of been like with the Pirates as 2 of the worst teams in baseball, but I think the Reds are slowly, coming up to speed. They're going to be interesting to watch, and they got some great young players in their own right. All right, let's talk about some awards, right? We'll kind of close out, with the awards, right? And let's start with the AL MVP. And there's a lot of great candidates, Shohei, Mike Trout, Jordan Alvarez, Aaron Judge. I'm going to go Jordan Alvarez. I think with the added protection in the lineup, he's going to have Charlie Munster season. I think this is, people know about him now, but I think this is where he really sticks his flag in the ground and says, I'm here, I'm legit, and I'm for real. So I'm going Jordan Alvarez, close second. I think Mike Trout gets back to being the Mike Trout everyone knows. I think the Angels are going to be a better team. They've added some free agent acquisitions in pitching, and I think they're not gonna win that AL West, but they're going to be better. And Mike Trout is going to have a full season of Mike Trout type baseball, and I think he could easily win the award. But I'm going to go with Jordan Alvarez for American League MVP. Let's head over to the National League. Again, no shortage of candidates, right? You got your guys in St. Louis, Arenado, Goldschmidt, who did win it last year. I like Trey Turner with the Phillies having a good year. For the Mets, maybe Alonso, Lindor could be in that mix now as he's now fully comfortable. But I'm going to go with someone I haven't mentioned yet, and he Mookie Betts. I think the Dodgers are going to need him more than ever. They've lost some hitters. He doesn't have the protection, but I think he's going to kind of put the Dodgers on his back, get him to the playoffs. I got him as a wild card team. I think Mookie Betts really has the Mookie Betts season the Dodgers envisioned when they got him away from the Red Sox. So Jordan Alvarez, Mookie Betts, your AL and NL MVPs, according to me anyway. Let's stay in the NL and go over the Cy Young Award winner prediction, right? He won it last year. He's on my fantasy team, so I'm sort of partial to him. But Corbin Burns is probably one of the best pitchers that doesn't get talked about enough, and very good. You got so I think he repeats, but so many other candidates, right? Verlander, Scherzer, Alcantara in Miami. It's you'd probably hear more about him if he didn't play in Miami. Max Fried in Atlanta, and I know I'm forgetting somebody, but I'm going with Burns to repeat in the AL. I'm going with kind of a dark horse. I know everyone likes Garrett Cole. Alex Manoah is going to have a great year. He could win it again. Well, I'm going with a kind of he's in the mix, but I don't think many people would pick him. Dylan Cease from the White Sox. That's just incredible stuff. Learning how to pitch. I think he's ready to take that even next step for the White Sox. They could win that division, and if that happens, this guy's going to be one of the major reasons why. So Dylan Cease is my AL Cy Young pick. All right. One of everyone's favorite part of when we do this show each year is the Rookie of the Year picks, right? Because it really has the biggest impact on the hobby, right? Rookie of the Year's cards go up the most. They have the biggest ceiling usually, and you can buy them sometimes, definitely at a more affordable price now rather than once the season really fully gets going. So some of the candidates that made my list, Hurston Kjerstad in Baltimore is looking good in spring. Back healthy. He could easily win it. Again, these Orioles are young and good. Gunnar Henderson, right? Another candidate. Should play every day and is going to put up pretty big numbers. So I like those two guys, but they're not my pick for AL Rookie Year. My pick plays in Boston. He should be their starting first baseman, and I think this is the year he's raw still, but I think he has a big enough Rookie of the Year type season. He wins it, and that's Tristan Casas from the Red Sox. That's my AL Rookie of the Year pick. Let's go to the NL for Rookie of the Year. Man, so many. My guy, Brett Beatty from the Mets, I'm hoping he wins that third base job. He's going to be a Major League Baseball player for a long time. One of those kind of guys. Could easily win Rookie of the Year. Jordan Walker, keep an eye on that kid in St. Louis. I don't know if he makes the ball club, but that's going to be a tough, send down when the time comes in. he won't be down long. Even if he gets sent down and doesn't make the team coming out of camp, he's going to be up very quickly, and he's a 5'5" tool guy too, and looks to be a major league stud. So Jordan Walker, keep that name in your mind. But the guy I'm going to go with, Arizona's made room for this kid. He, again, another 5-tool type player. They traded Dalton Varsho to make room for him, and that's Corbin Carroll. I know he was at the Tops conference. I know Tops has been having him at different events. He's legit. He's going to start. He's going to play every day, and he can contribute on so many different levels. And I think it's going to be him and Brett Beatty for the National League Rookie of the Year. But I won't be the homer here. I'll go with Carroll. I hope it's Beatty as a Mets fan, but I'll go with Corbin Carroll. But one thing I know this year, it just seems a lot of young players are playing really well in spring training, and that's a great sign for Major League Baseball and the future of the sport and the league. So it's going to be fun to watch. It'll be fun to look back when the year is said and done and see how my picks did. Again, your betting variety, bet at your own risk. So, but there you go. Hope you enjoyed the episode, and we're gonna go, have some closing thoughts, and we'll wrap up the show. Thank you. All right. Thank you for listening to another episode of Hobby Quick Hits. Want to give out our social media, starting with our website, which is www.sportscardnationpodcast.com. Facebook, you can follow us at www.facebook.com/sportscardnationpodcast/. Twitter, we are at SportsCardNati1, so it's SportsCard NATI1. Instagram at Sports Card Nation Podcast, or you can email the show hobbyquickhits@gmail.com. Again, thanks for listening. We'll see you next week.